This is a Huey gunship from JD Bricks.
It's true.
This is a Vietnam War era ship, and it is freaking glorious, baby. It's got some room for a couple gunners in the back right there, and it fits one pilot in the cockpit. Now, we usually utilize this guy right here as our pilot. It's the Indiana Jones head with a nice little Brick Arms beret and the BrickTactical.com jumpsuit from Top Gun, actually. This is Maverick, baby.
I feel the need for speed.
But we utilize this because it looks like a Vietnam War era pilot. Oh my god, actually getting this boy in here is so difficult. Oh lord, he's upside down. Oh my Lanta. Alright, that only took goddamn forever. Now, we use that pilot quite a bit, but honestly, we've been lacking in terms of the actual squad we put in the back here. Normally, I use these soldiers. These are mostly Pacific War troops from World War II. And the reason being is that they shared very similar uniforms to Vietnam War era grunts. On top of that, I'll also use this guy here, who is from Brick Mania. He is a Korean War soldier, and once again, very similar uniforms to the Vietnam War. Now, the only true Vietnam War era soldier I own is this guy right here, and he is from the Minifig company, I believe. Usually they say somewhere. Yep, TMC, there you go, the Minifig company. So these are all either custom printed or decaled troopers on real Lego. But then you've also got your fakes like this World War II Pacific Theater soldier right here. And honestly, these eras of war, well, as you can see, you can barely tell the difference between them. I also picked up some of these. These are Brick Mania torsos from the Vietnam War. And what you could do is slap on some legs there. These don't exactly match, but it looks kind of close enough there. Give my boy a head and an M1 pod helmet, and you've got yourself a Vietnam War era grunt.
That's awesome.
And here's the other Top Gun Maverick trooper. It's either Goose or Maverick. I'm not entirely sure which, but it's from BrickTactical.com, and he comes with a very nice Vietnam War era pilot's helmet right there. But the thing is, this huge stack of troops we've never detailed out to make into a true Vietnam War squad to go in our gunship here. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Customizing these troops, making them Vietnam War ready, baby.
Yeah, baby.
So let's get into it. If you guys do enjoy this video, please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and stay tuned till the end, because there will be a giveaway, baby. Let's go. All right, how about we start ourselves off with the Minifig Company authentic trooper here. Now, you know, he's already authentic. He looks pretty good, but we can add a little bit more pizzazz.
Let me add a little bit of spice.
All right, for our boy here, I want to keep it kind of basic so we can still see his uniform and things like that. So why don't we just go ahead and give him a nice like grunt backpack here. Very nice. Why don't we also replace his helmet? Give him the half rusted M1 pod helmet, which I think is just kind of cool. And then we'll slap him with a nice M16A4 here from BrickTactical.com. So we've got just kind of our simple grunt here, nice and upgraded. And then we've got another one of these guys here. So let's go ahead and give him a nice head. And then we have the ironic peace helmet, of course. It's the Vietnam War, baby, and this guy's gonna paint stuff on his helmet, of course.
The U.S. Army.
Oh, yeah.
Your experience may differ.
Now, let's also give him, since he's got the peace helmet, I think we got to make him kind of funny. So let's give him a big old bandolier here. And actually, no. Now, I want to give him a ballistic vest. The reason being is this will have a slot for Das Flammenwerfen Backpack, ja. And so this will be our flamer, the peace-loving flame trooper. Heck yeah, baby.
Wait, what?
Very nice. The squad grows. But then, what about our boy here? The pilot. Well, we've got the guy actually in the cockpit, but this can be, you know, the co-pilot, and I figured we'd give him like an M1911 since that was kind of the standard issue service weapon at the time. However, I have this gold one, which is just kind of silly, very Deadpool-esque. Instead, you know, since this was an era of decorating your weapons and armor quite a bit in the US military, we'll give him this custom painted airborne, like, Munulist style weapon. Real nice. That thing looks fire. And that's it. I mean, he's a pilot. He doesn't need anything more than that. Nothing to weigh him down or anything like that. There's no point. Now, let's take our Korean War veteran right here who, you know, he was so happy he wanted to go again.
That's a lie.
You know, I feel like this guy's going to be kind of like kitted out, ready for anything. So why don't we go ahead and slap some of these onto his belt. And you can kind of twist and turn them around however you like. Although I think they look better either all front facing or all back facing. So let's do all front facing. Just some nice little extra ammo clips for our boy here. And I don't know, maybe it's the nerd glasses, but he's given medic vibes. And I just so happen to have a medical helmet right here for our boy. Beautiful. We can give him a nice little sash as well. I wonder if this will fit with everything else. Might not, but I feel like if anyone would have a sash, be a medic. No, it doesn't really fit on there. Never mind, friend. Get that head back on there. Okay, that's not your helmet. Where'd it go, friend? There it is. Okay, so total failure with that, but of course we do have a nice little bandage dressing for our boy here, and you know, he'll just medic the squad up when need be, I suppose. Now, what about our boy here, who we saw a little bit earlier? I want to turn him into heavy weapons man. Ugh, his legs are stuck. There we go. Let's go ahead and give our boy nice little green tactical belt. Very nice. Toss his helmet on there as well. Beautiful. Now, the tactical belt does have a holster, so let's just go ahead and slide a nice little pistol in there. Actually, looks like it's already got a smoke grenade in the back too. That is removable, but I mean, makes sense to have, I guess. And then as heavy weapons man, he's going to be carrying a lot. He's going to be hoofing quite a bit. So let's go ahead and wrap a nice little strap around this shotgun here. Nice little pump shotty from Sidan Toys. My camera does not want to focus on it. There we go. And it actually does pump up and down, which is very cool. So with this strap here, you can wrap it around, toss the end around the barrel if it wants to do that. There we go. Et voila. Now, you know, he's going to be utilizing some disposable rockets. Very nice. Perfect. Now, what about sniping? There was a lot of sniping during the Vietnam War. I think we should use one of these Pacific Theater troopers, and this guy looks very much so like he would be down for some sniping. Now, we're going to have to fully remove his head and replace his face with one that does not have a chin strap. The reason being is I want to give him one of these cool hats. I think they're called like Bowie hats or something. I don't know. But we have a black one here. Then we have a dark plastic black one, but I think the one that fits best is the camouflage one. Yeah, that looks gorgeous.
Cool.
Now, for our boy here, I do want to give him a nice pistol. And this one's from Eclipse Graphics. You can see there's a peace symbol on the grip right there, as well as shh on the silencer. Very Vietnam War inspired, I think. So we can give that to our boy here. And then actually, I gotta go find him a sniper rifle. I did not pull any out. 1 second.
A few moments later.
Here we go, a nice period sniper right there. Dual molded, of course, to look just fan-frickin-tastic. Oh yeah, that is a very dope looking sniper. I can't even lie, that's pretty goated, baby. Yo, the squad be pulling up looking dope. But what about a nice demo man? This cheeky bugger right here looks like he would be very down for some demolition. I think that's the Indiana Jones Soviet soldier face, I think. Now I have two vests that I think would work for a demo trooper here, and I think the one on the right is a little bit better since it's a bit more simplistic kind of looking, you know what I'm saying? So we'll give him that, and then we can actually go ahead and give him... No, that's not gonna fit back there. All right, well, he could have a radio. Is that not gonna fit there either? Oh my god, what fits in this? Brother! Alright, I guess we're giving him nothing in the back. But he could go ahead and hold a nice little C4 charge and the detonator for said charge right here. Now, I don't have a weapon for him and nothing fits in the back. So he's just demo man. Someone protect this man.
Come on, man.
Now, I think we can do our heavy gunner. And you know we talking about the M60, baby. So let's go ahead and give this guy the bandolier set. Perfect. And simply, we're just gonna give him, Yeah, the big gun. So this is a nice camo M60 with a massive loop around her, and this will be the guy that, you know, hangs out the side of the Huey to fire away randomly at the trees, just for fun. Yeah, get some.
If you don't like America, then you can get it.
Now let's go ahead and round this squad off with, let's do another one of these plastic kind of flexible caps there, because I think they're pretty cool. This guy can be squad lead, I suppose. So we'll go ahead and give him the radio. Beautiful. And on top of that, we have a few of these FAMASes with some drawings on them, which is kind of cool. There's this one. Then there's actually this blank one here. But I think the most Vietnam looking one is sort of this olive green variant. I actually don't know if I have my radio op backpack, because I believe during the Vietnam War in its entirety, they still needed the backpack for the radio op. Let me go check.
2 seconds later.
Aha! I did find my 3D printed and then painted radio op backpack here. So we could toss that on this stone cold killer. And we have ourselves our Vietnam War squad lead. Very nice. Now this makes 10 troopers exactly for the Huey, including the, pilot in the Huey and the co-pilot, which isn't exactly how squads work. But, you know, this is Lego. And I think these guys look incredible. Obviously, some better than others. So comment down below which one do you like the best out of all of them. I think for me personally, it's probably either the M60 gunner or the sniper, but let me know in the comment section below. For the giveaway, we'll be giving away this small bundle of Pacific Theater soldiers, so you can make your own Vietnam War troopers. All you gotta do is hit the like button, subscribe, and comment down below either what war we should cover next, or if we should do the Viet Cong next, or your favorite squad member that we built here today. Either way, guys, let's check out some more military Legos. This is a big ol' Lego mound of dirt. Yeah, it's pretty exciting, isn't it? Dirt mound Lego. Now, I actually built this as part of my latest Daily Bricks video, and in it we did a modern ambush. However, I feel like this little pit in the middle where I had a crashed Black Hawk helicopter would actually make for a really nice artillery pit. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be putting some artillery in this bad Larry and building a battle around it.
That's awesome.
And if you enjoy, stay tuned for later in this video where we will have a giveaway, and like and subscribe. Now let's go.
Oh my god! Okay, it's happening!
Now there are some various artillery options we can use here. For example, here are some Napoleonic Wars or Civil War era artillery cannons. You can really use them for either of those wars. Even you can use them for the Revolutionary War, but you know, a little vintage artillery action. Or you can scoot forward a few decades and have some World War I artillery, but that's still a little dated. Just a few years later, we would have World War II artillery, this here being a Nebelwerfer. It's actually kind of crazy how quickly arms have developed over the last 100 or 200 years.
I'm in danger!
But still, it develops further with the modern artillery cannon, which I think is what I want to use. I want to do a modern artillery build. I've been really into the modern military Legos lately. I think I got a little bit burnt out on World War II Legos, so yeah, let's go ahead and do a nice artillery build. Look how tall this thing goes, man. That's crazy. So we do have a nice artillery pit here, but I think it'd be kind of cool to add some nice sandbags here for soldiers to be defending it. So why don't we go ahead and start assembling some sandbags around this area. There we go. We opened up this position with some sandbags, so now it's a little bit more defendable. Now, before we start putting soldiers in here, we're going to need to have some artillery shells as well. So I'm thinking we stack up some crates over this way. We could put some of these down here, as well as a few of these bigger boys, which look just slightly more modern in my opinion. Well, I think in most people's. Now, with those crates there, I think they actually look pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and try and fix the back here. So these are the stabilizers for the artillery, and they're a little bit hard to get into this ground because it's so uneven. And then you've got the side wings here too, which additionally a little bit hard to make look more natural, but I think that works. And then you can actually raise this to keep the artillery locked into an upright position.
Cool.
In terms of the actual artillerymen, we're going to be using non-armored figures because artillery work is extremely high hot. And they'll probably overheat in body armor, and presumably an artillery position like this is very far from the front line, so it doesn't matter. So we got two of these boys right here. Let's have one of them on the aiming mechanism, and then our other boy, well, he needs some ammo. Now, there's a few options, and I don't love all of them. So first of all, we could just use like an RPG. There's a dog hair, but that's obviously wrong. The other option is one of these striker rounds. There's also a World War II Panzerschreck round, or a missile. And I also have a number of tank rounds here, AP, APCR, and HE, but I don't have any actual artillery shells themselves.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
Now, I do have some custom builds like this right here, which are meant for tanks. They're tank rounds that you can put inside of a particular model custom tank. I forget which one these came from, but I've got two sets of them. But again, it doesn't quite look right, so I decided to go for this kind of build, just try to make a large artillery shell. I still don't love how it looks, but it's certainly better than the completely inaccurate other versions. Not that I'm known for accuracy in my builds, but you know what? I don't want it to look totally stupid. So we got our guy over here loading as well. Now we're also going to need a spotter who's going to, have some binoculars. So let's have this US soldier here, who is definitely a little bit more armored, but he's not going to be forced to do that manual labor, and we'll give him some nice binocs here so he can observe, and a radio to call back to the headsets of the guys behind him. Beautiful. And he can be like right around here. Gorgeous. Now, we have this defensive position here in front of the artillery, and I think we should make it so maybe some guerrilla fighters manage to break through the forward lines and are now attacking from over here against the artillery. So that could be kind of cool, but we're gonna need some guards because otherwise these guys will just get completely swept in battle. So firstly, why don't we use this young whippersnapper right here as one of our guards. He's got the Apple Watch on, bro. God dang. We'll go ahead and slap on a rifle right there, and he's gonna be ready for war. We've also got the Sidan Toys M4, I believe. So we could set him up against the sandbags like so. Gorgeous. Now he's gonna want some friends. We don't want him fighting, all alone. So let's bring in this boy, who's clearly very angry, and we'll go ahead and give him a nice LMG, and he could be kind of like running in from the back lines maybe to assist as he sees the assault is about to be attacking their artillery position. And speaking of the back lines, why don't we also have a nice little combat medic back here. He's got his nice little medical suitcase. Oh wait, we've also got a syringe. Yes, medic. Beautiful. And he can chill back here. Okay, he needs the medic. Nope, stand up, my friend. Beautiful. What's up, gamers? I'm here to tell you about Instant Gaming. Instant Gaming is an amazing place where you can get some fire deals on all sorts of video games. Seriously, it's like 60 to 95% off, as you can see here. These are all of the Star Wars titles they have. They literally have every Star Wars title. You can also get XCOM here, Men of War Assault Squad 2, all of the games I play on the channel you can buy here for extremely cheap prices. If you use my affiliate link in the description, it helps me out a ton. So thank you guys for listening to this sponsorship, and thank you to Instant Gaming for continuing to sponsor the channel. And then we need one more guard, I think, on the front line. So how about this fella right here? I love this helmet. One of the all-time goated helmets. Another Sidan Toys one, I believe. And we're gonna go ahead and slap on this cool DMR right here with looks like a 6x scope on it, which might be overkill, but I don't think he was expecting a death charge from the enemy. And we want to go ahead and reposition his weapon and his head. Beautiful. Now he can go and chill behind the sandbags there. Now I would say we have a pretty cool little artillery position here with some defenders at the ready. Now there is this sort of hillside down below, so presumably some of our sneaky guerrilla fighters maybe like crawled their way up this way and then whoocha, pop up to attack. So we've got some of these guys. These I think I showed off recently are from bricktactical.com, and they are absolutely incredible looking, based off of CSGO. And I've also go. Got a second one of them fellers right there. And then I figure we could also throw in some of these like standard warfighter looking dudes from whatever country the US is apparently shelling right now.
Oh, jeez, this doesn't look very fun.
Oh, wait, I've also got these warfighters here, and we'll go ahead and equip them with just kind of random weapons like MAC-10s. And we could also throw in, of course, some AK-47s, the quintessential weapon. Okay. Let's go ahead and assemble. Oh, and I'm definitely using the blued spot. You know, let's set that up first. Let's, I don't know, you have to find a pretty decently sized space for it because it's pretty large. It's also very hard to actually get to fit. This is obviously a custom Lego piece. I forget what this one's from. Maybe Eclipse Graphics? Do I have it on right? Yeah, I do. Bruh. What the heck? These are so hard to get. There we, oh no, it's uneven. Wait. Aha. There we go. Finally got it to clip in. They are Lego compatible. They just kind of don't work always too good. So let's have this guy back here. He's been shot and we could have his AK resting upon him. Rip my man. But then let's set up the other ones for attack. Alright, we got our attack underway, and I actually decided to move this guy over to here and instead put this dude here with like his hands blown off and his legs severed. A little bit brutal, but maybe like a grenade went off or something along those lines. I don't know, maybe over the top. We've also got some other dudes who clearly fell in combat over here to the defenders, but still an overwhelming force coming forward. However, of course, the US has two solid gunner positions right there with far deadlier and more accurate weapons with highly trained soldiers versus, you know, insurgents. And then they've got a little bit of reinforcements coming in, a medic as well as, you know, some artillerymen who definitely have sidearms and could potentially help out. So I don't know, who are you guys having winning this battle? I'm honestly going US despite the numbers that the insurgents here are fronting. But yeah, I gotta go with my boys from the US. This is Colonel Mustard of the United States military, and he currently is in possession of much needed supplies during Desert Shield. He needs to deliver these hand grenades, munitions, and weapons to the soldiers fighting in the desert, but he's gonna need some soldiers to do so. Heck yeah, boys. Plenty of men for the job to deliver some peanut butter to the boys on the front lines. But something nefarious is afoot. Unbeknownst to the US military, an insurgent was spying on them, and he was foaming at the mouth, seeing the amount of supplies that him and his troopers could get a hold of. So he continued to watch and figured out the supposed route that the military convoy would be taking. And that's what we're going to be building today, boys. A Lego US military convoy ambush. And it should be incredible. So hit the like button, subscribe, and stay till the end for our giveaway. Now let's get into this thing. The insurgent returns to their base camp with news of what they've found out. He explains it to his comrade, who agrees they need to start an ambush plan immediately, and it's going to be on the desert road. So why don't we go ahead and start building that desert road? So first things first, we're gonna start off with our 3 street plates right here. I'm gonna put these somewhat in the back, and now we are going to spread out a bunch of sand and brown tiles across the front of the plate here, and then maybe have a little bit like spilling onto the road so it looks like a very dusty, not very traveled desert road. So I'm gonna do that now. There we go. We've got the sand dunes in the front here. Now for the back little bit over here behind the road, I actually want to put some mountains back here, since obviously there's a lot of mountainous regions in this particular desert, and I think it would just look kind of cool to have a backdrop over here and then the ambushers over here. And there we go. I think the mountains actually look pretty nice back here beyond the road, but I do want to add some more sand dunes over here so that our insurgents have good positions to hide out before striking the convoy. And I've got some camo sandbags for them to use. And I'm also going to build up the sand dudes over here. So let me do that.
5 minutes later.
Alright, I think this turned out actually quite nicely here. We've got one major sandbag wall here, and it's very camouflaged in to the ground, so I don't think it'll be noticeable. We got a nice sand dune over here that they can hide behind, and another bit more hodgepodge sandbag wall over here. And on the cliff walls, I did add some sandbags stacked up over here on an overhang, so that way a few troopers can hide up up there and ambush down below. Whoa, very nice. Now, we need our troopers that are actually going to be doing the ambushing. Okay, so our insurgents here are going to be a bit of variety. They're gonna have various uniforms and armors and stuff like that because it will be sort of a militant insurgent group that's not well funded or anything like that. So this is actually a Russian from the Indiana Jones set, but we've given him a tactical vest. Another Indiana Jones Wehrmacht soldier here, but he does have a ski mask going on the front of him there. We've got an outlaw trooper here with the turban on the top of his head, Indiana Jones body with a beret and tactical vest. It's actually really easy to make like kind of good looking insurgents. This is a British soldier uniform, but it works really well for the desert, obviously. He's got a nice little bandolier and hat. Some more sort of variety fighters here, and a lot of insurgents actually fight with vintage weapons and armor because it's cheaper to purchase surplus than buy new weapons. And a lot of the surplus is actually gifted and things like that from foreign adversaries. So kind of makes sense, but those are insurgents. Let me go ahead and equip these guys with some weapons now. Also, I realized this one dude had just a yellow head, so I replaced it with a tan one. Need everyone to match. But these guys now have Molotov cocktails, melee weapons, a whole bunch of AKs, some standard rifles, dual molded RPGs. They are fairly kitted out here, ready to ambush. But what are they ambushing? Well, some military vehicles. Now, sadly, there will be no M1 Abrams on the convoy. And the reason for that, it has already been tracked and is in need of repairs. Press F to pay respects, boys. But we do have some other vehicles. Firstly, we've got our tactical Humvee right here, which has LMGs on doors, as well as one very large 50 cal HMG at the very top right here. And this is where all of the supplies are being kept, in these crates here, in the back loading bay area here, and there's also an LMG up top this way to protect the rear of this thing. And we've already got our security driver in there. What's up, gamers? I'm here to tell you about Instant Gaming. Instant Gaming is an amazing place where you can get some fire deals on all sorts of video games. Seriously, it's like 60 to 95% off, as you can see here. These are all of the Star Wars titles they have. They literally have every Star Wars title. You can also get XCOM here, War Assault Squad 2, all of the games I play on the channel you can buy here for extremely cheap prices. If you use my affiliate link in the description, it helps me out a ton. So thank you guys for listening to this sponsorship, and thank you to Instant Gaming for continuing to sponsor the channel. One vehicle's not really a convoy, so let's put this at the head of the convoy here and get our second vehicle, which will be this armored personnel carrier Striker right here. And instead of carrying personnel, it will be carrying more supplies today. This Bad Larry features a very large tank gun at the top, as well as a light machine gun on the side right here. Now let's line up our US forces. Alright, so we've got a wide variety of troopers here with a wide variety of weapons. We've got a lot of assault rifles, gas mask troopers, which is kind of fun, some heavier weapons as well. We've got a variety of units such as US Army troopers. We've got a few Marines involved, Navy SEALs. Very eclectic, but it's kind of fun. We also have some of the working attachment weapons, which I always think are super cool to include. Two of them right here, more standard soldiers, and then a trooper here with an M2 Law rocket launcher. So again, quite a bit of variety for both sides, which I think makes for a very fun and dynamic mock. Now let's get them set up. Firstly, we need to incorporate the ambush aspect of the mock, and that's obviously going to happen with the front Humvee here. I'd like to have the Colonel up in the HMG here, and he's going to be facing out in the desert as if responding to something about to unleash some fire. And I'd like it to be this Molotov trooper here who is going to be running and screaming on in above this sand dune right here and about to throw the molly at this boy. But that's more of a distraction than anything, because up in the mountainside here, we will have our dual molded RPG firing up. So this guy here will be who is truly taking out the front of the convoy. And what's kind of cool is you can actually pop open the engine of the front Humvee here. So we'll go ahead and do that as if it's been hit by an RPG and sort of exploded, and we'll need to add a bunch of fire in here. There we go. Now we got flames essentially shooting everywhere out of this hood. Pretty nice. We're also going to put a second AK soldier up in the mountains here to support the RPG trooper, and in response, we're going to throw another US Army soldier here who has noticed the guys up here now that the RPG has been fired and is taking on that AK trooper trooper. Now for the striker over here, I'm actually gonna open up the top hatch, which is very difficult to do without breaking it somehow, as you can see. There we go, slight repairs have been done. We're gonna have this trooper as the tank commander, and he's essentially going to be peeking out here and seeing what the heck's going on, because obviously the convoy has stopped at this point. We're also gonna go ahead and lower the APC's back hatch over here, and have a soldier poking his head out ready to attack. And others are going to already be attacking over here, but let's set up the insurgents first. We're gonna have one with an AK behind these sandbags over here, and then a second with an old rifle firing from behind this sand dune. They'll have clipped this soldier who ran out a little too fast, but the US Army trooper next to him is gonna be able to get some fire out as well. And he will have successfully killed this insurgent right here between the other two. Now, we also have our US rocket trooper right here, who is going to be firing at these sandbags danger close, where we have our bandolier AK-47 trooper returning fire alongside the other riflemen over this way. Now we have our final two US Army soldiers right here. One is a Navy SEAL actually, and the other is a US Marine. We're gonna have the US Marine on the ground already over here, presumably having been wounded. With his strength depleted, he's not able to carry his heavy machine gun anymore, so he's drawn his pistol to try and help take out the Molotov thrower. And for the Navy SEAL, we're gonna have him running into the combat from the back of the storage area over here as reinforcements for the other troopers getting ambushed currently. I think for action sequences, this looks fantastic. But I want to include a little bit more detailing throughout the battlefield, including like random discarded weapons throughout, as if this has been a long-term battlefield with rusted weapons everywhere and stuff like that. I also want to add a little bit more fire to the map, as if some explosions have gone off, and maybe a little bit more foliage. So let's time-lapse that. Well boys, there we have it. Some more detailing in the mock overall. We've got some fires spreading as if this Molotov cocktail accidentally started burning everything around this guy at the sandbag, maybe due to an HE shell from this imploding nearby. I added some like discarded fuel barrels and some skeletons to the mock, as well as some dead plants and trees and stuff. Kind of give it a bit more of like a deserty vibe, I guess.